Alright, let's see if this works this time. Bunch of nonsense going on here. The iPhone wasn't working. And it should be going. I mean, we went live. Said it was scheduled for right now. Okay. Alright, finally it went on. Let's lower the... No, it's going up. What's going on? How are you? I came to... Is the audio okay? I turned, like, I muted my computer, but I have it up so I can see comments. And so, just seeing what's going on. It's, like, delayed in the computer. What's going on, Steven? How are you? How are you? How are things? How long have I been building tiny boats? Since I moved to, like, well, technically since 2013, 2014. I had like an inflatable. That would like arguably be the first one. But really since 2015. And then I kind of grinded all the way up to 2020 when the world started obviously changing. And then we had a pretty dynamic shift there in terms of what was going on. I don't know how the audio is going to be. The audio is probably going to be terrible. It's like nothing I can do about it. Dang it. Alright. I had to use, like, I don't know, I use my... I got all this crap. Iceberg, and there's a lot of it. What's this? What's that? Is this gonna work? Hold on. Alright. Let me know if, honestly, if this is even better or if it's just worse. We got this stupid microphone thing here. Stupid thing was a lot of money. Never used it, not once. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna try and see if this is all worth what it is. And technically, if I plug this in, hold up. No, never mind. I don't even need that. That's right. Let's plug this right in here. Let's see what it does to the audio. Stupid. All right, forget it. Forget it. I'm sorry. Forget it. Forget it. I'm sorry. Forget it. Forget it. The truth is no. All right, look. Clearly, I don't have my stuff together. No. All right, look. Clearly, I don't have my stuff together. You can hear me on stupid thing. All right, but I can see your guys' comments now. So let's just just gonna roll with the Galaxy and hope that it does its thing, and that it's not too cumbersome here. So what? So let me catch up here. When I was trying to mess with that stuff, I should have been a little smart about that and just ran an unlisted live stream and had like a few select people tell me if that was actually gonna work. Yeah, that was not real good. All right, got your question there for Keandre Johnson. What's going on, Brett? How are you? Appreciate it. Appreciate all the new subs. How am I liking that Slick 350? It's a lot of truck. It's a lot of truck. You know, like I said in the video, I got it because I plan on trying to tour. And, you know, you just can't really tour and haul the stuff you need to haul with a half ton. That's really the only reason. I guess there's a pretty capable half tons that can do it, and there's even some like gas powered 3/4 tons that could have done it. But I really, just after looking at all the headaches and then just I don't know, I had some outrageous Like they offered me 6-7 grand over what my loan was on my current truck, and so I was, man, I could just get out of my truck with equity. So I mean, when's the last time you guys ever like knew a time in, you know, some crazy times? We got record high unemployment, we got record high job openings, and we got equity in cars. Equity, you probably could go to your car dealership right now if you're backwards in a loan, or if you were like a few months ago. Like, go there now, and you probably are not backwards. They'll probably offer you more than what you have. So I don't know what it's just strange. But you know, I got into that truck. We'll see if it was a good idea, and it either will be or it won't be. Let's see if we can tune this a little more. Is that raising it? That's about as low as it can go. Oh, I turned it off that time. No, all right. All right, that's okay. So this is it. Let's just get to questions here. Do I ever drop shot? Yes, I do. Carter, I drop shot with 6-pound line, and I like to use, my favorite drop shot is, what is it called? Stupid. It's like the jackal flickworm. It's not really even used as a drop shot. I mean, you know, you use the rubber worms, you use other similar equivalents that are, but for whatever reason, that flickworm, it's this brown pumpkin, speckled. It's cute. It just gets all the fish. I don't know why. I just let it drop and I fish it like I'm fishing an actual worm, and it just sits there, and you know, they pick it over here. Drop shotting and chatterbaits, I think, are probably the top baits on my lake over here, and frogs right now. But that, you know, that's going away. And I like to use that on a 7-foot, like medium light. You know, I like using 6-pound line. And yeah, you kind of get drug on 6-pound line, but that seems to get the best results. I did switch because I was starting to lose a lot of fish on that. I would get them hooked, but you know, especially with smallies, it would just drag me out forever. So I try to do, you know, 8 or 10-pound line, and I actually tried to do on a bait caster. It just didn't work. So I really can't get the results that I would that I can get with 6-pound line, 6-pound fluoro. So I try to use Seedgar Red Label 6-pound fluoro. It seems to be pretty good. Even like the Berkeley Vanish stuff, it works pretty good. Let me see what we got here. What's going on, North Carolina? I missed it already. What's going on, Raul? Outdoors with Big Matt. What's going on? All right. Okay. Christopher Guffrey. Been recommended an aluminum tubing transom. Oh, tubing? Like you're gonna weld it all together? And there's a lot of people that do that. I personally am probably actually gonna have to go that route with my personal boat, where the motor is just so big that I can't see not having some sort of welded transom, you know, work. Either I'm gonna have one professionally made, like by Nate, or somebody from the Tin Can crew. I'm just gonna give them measurements to template out. I might just actually template it out in a piece of cardboard and send it to them, or a piece of Voilar and send it to them. And it's probably gonna actually be that, because the transom is a sore subject. You know, wood's really only so strong, but if you just get a nice thick durable aluminum transom, the whole thing is it might vibrate more. There was a concern about the vibration, but I've also talked to other people saying that's not even a problem. So I don't know. All the top people that kind of mentored me into where I am now always advocated for aluminum transoms. They're just expensive. I think I would prefer those over a synthetic transom personally. I think it's probably the best transom you can get if you can get somebody to weld it for you, or if you have the welding skill yourself. Okay, Brett. Question from Brett. What would be a good build price? 3 to 5K will build any boat you want. And I used to say just 3K or 3 to 3.5K, but now because everything's so expensive, I mean $3,000 to $5,000 will probably build anything you want. We'll probably build a really good boat. Any desire to dip my toes into a non-tiny boat? If it's a pontoon boat, Derek, yes, I will look into it. But for whatever reason, nobody ever wants to let go of their crappy ass pontoon boats out here. And there are a lot of them. I'm just like, hey, you want to sell it to me? No. Like, you can tell that motor's just busted and disheveled. Interior's all blown out. And I'm just like, man, what I could do. I have a neighbor, though, that has a legit empty shell right there. And I was like, let me build it for you. Just let me build it for you. I don't build for anybody, but my neighbor's pretty cool. Like, he just has a project boat. I don't necessarily even want it, but he's got it there. I was like, man, let me build it. But we'll see how that goes. I'd love to build a pontoon boat from scratch and show you guys how we would tackle that. It would be pretty sweet. Other than that, I don't have a desire to get a 20-foot bass boat or 21-foot bass boat. I mean, they're just a giant money pit. Any of the higher end boats are just giant money pits. It's just the initial cost is whatever it is, and then it's just a big giant money pit. $1,000 for spark plugs, $1,000 for a service, $1,000 here. You scratch the stupid gel coat, $1,000. Like, you got to just have thousands of dollars on hand to put up with a boat, or you just really, really got to like tournament fishing. So, probably not ever going to get a bass boat. And that's the one thing I will say about tiny boats. The initial investment into a tiny boat is a lot. It's it's even questionable, but the upkeep for a tiny boat is abysmal in terms of actual money dumping in. The bust out another 1,000 thing for a boat. After you build a tiny boat, that's it's like bust out maybe another 100 here and there for like what, 6 gallons will fill up your gas tank. You'll go forever. 6 gallons of gasoline. You got to replace one spark plug, one coil pack. It's not a smaller motor. The portable tiller motors on all platforms are much easier to service and way less expensive to service, and there's just not a whole lot of crap to go wrong. Steering columns, linkage, all those electronics. So, it's a lot cheaper to run a tiny boat. It is dramatically cheaper after the initial, input into the cost. So that's my stance. Probably not ever going to get a bass boat. If I do, it's because I found like the perfect hull and it's a nice empty usable shell, because some of those fiberglass shells, they stack them on top, they're impossible to get through without like serious modifications, and I just personally don't know enough. But everybody's been asking me to do a glass boat. I mean, I would love to do a glass boat. I had a Carolina skiff that I gave away. I would love to just fix that boat instead of giving it away, but I pretty much gave it away. After breaking it on the river, trying to chase big striper, and then that's what happened to that. But one of these days, I'm going to find a glass hole, and then I'm going to stick onto it. Let me see. What's going on, Rocho? Bunch, how are you? Australia, man. What time is it over there, Tom? Living in Tennessee, you're going to have a branch. We are actually going to go to Tennessee in October. We are planning the details and everything as we speak. We'll be in, I guess, Lake Chattanooga. Is that what it's called? Lake Chattanooga. I think we will actually be going there and spending a little bit of time there for about a week and actually building a boat there, and then possibly launching a tiny boat series, a tournament series there, where it's going to get hosted there. We got to hash out all the details of that. We got to talk to a few people there and see if we can get that done. And Carter Smith, okay, let me see. You got that? All right. Do tiny boats handle rivers and big lake waves? Depends on the hull, Outdoors, man. I have a 15.5 foot smoker craft, and that thing handles waves just fine. But if you go out there on a John boat, no, not so much. You start to get kind of anything after like a mod V John, 16-foot mod V, you start to get. Under that, you start to get kind of owned. Even in a 14-foot DV, you still do pretty well. I think a 15 to 16-foot DV, or like a true strong V, like something from a Lumacraft or Smokercraft, really does well. If you're looking for a big boat that can handle like serious water, I think my boat just takes waves just as well as a bass boat. That's like 20 feet. What's going on, Chris? The boat, dude, whatever. Your boat should be done, man. It's going tie welder, 2007 17-foot Grizzly tracker with 75 Mercury. Heck yeah, that's a good deal. For $2,000? With a 75 Mercury, the motor is worth like 8 grand, especially right now. Whatever. Who's giving you that deal? If you don't take that deal, give it to me, Ty, because I don't know. There's like a boat shortage everywhere, and that's a deal you'll never find again. Somebody's just giving that boat away. Something is either a real suspect boat, something's really wrong with it, or they're just giving it away. Like they don't know what they have. I would sell that boat for 8 grand. Personally, I would right now when like you can actually make money off boats, and that's the other residual thing with boats. When you buy boats, really hard to get your money back in them. But if you build a tiny boat and you build it right, you can actually come out even. Well, right now you probably would have equity, but it seems like everything right now there's equity because of the shortage and the supply and demand. But I don't know. You find 2,000. That's a pre 2020 price. That's a good price. Why does it take too long for my Fireant live well kit? So long to suck water in? Ozak, do you have Instagram or Facebook? Because we have a Facebook business suite or an office suite that we try and troubleshoot. YouTube is not the best platform to troubleshoot that, but it shouldn't take a long time to suck water in. So we would love to help you troubleshoot that. I will say there has been a few times where we had people that bought the Fireant kit and they had obscenely big live wells. Like one gentleman bought the Fireant kit with the valve, the flapper valve the 3-way, and he bought it for a live well that could fit a 4-foot catfish in it. So it was an obscenely big it was 100 and some odd gallon live well, and then after so much water was in there, that the amount of pressure, the little rubber flapper valve that closes the version 3 live well valve on and off, it started like failing. So it would only fill up to halfway or not even halfway. So at that point in time, you're gonna have a live well that's really big. You kind of just need to run a straight show, and you need to run a very, very high, like I would say a 1200 GPH build or aerator, like straight shot pump. You need a pretty powerful pump to not only fill that thing efficiently, but actually be able to have enough force to fill it up. You would need quite a bit, and actually you would have the drain out. You would have to just run it. You run a more traditional drain out. You'd have to have like some wide gates or the shut off valves, like the little rubber flapper valves, and that's not going to work for you if it's too big. But they have fairly big live wells in bass boats, and they run the same system. So it's something that we would just troubleshoot with you. I'm just putting out that out there. The version 3, they don't work for like giant catwell live wells. They have other ones that they have the version 4 and version 2. I think that will actually work on something like that. They're designed to not have that flapper. They're just designed, okay, it's closed, it's open, and then there's really simple ways to do that. Run to Pensacola, Ralph from Pensacola. What's going on, man? What's going on, Devon? Thomas, do you ever need more boat for Havasu? Me, no. I need more motor. That's my problem. I get freaking smoked. So going around, the lake at 19 to 21 miles an hour is really annoying. But other than that, I like my boat a lot. So if my boat just went 30 to 35, that's all I really need. So as soon as I get there, I'm just going to keep it there. Okay, Tom Ferris got a 16-foot Haynes Hunter 16 at 2:03 p.m. So you got 16-foot. So like, what is that? A DV Mod V? I never heard of a Haynes Hunter boat. I know they made like there's a lot of odd companies that were all using the same hull pretty much. In the older years, 1960s to 1990s, you saw a lot of different boat companies. There was like a million of them, but you could see the hull designs were pretty much the same. So I'm wondering what kind it is. Excuse me. Raw from Pensacola. I'm sorry, I keep reading that. Devon, thank you, man. Appreciate it. When you say raw, do you mean new raw? Are you like a Marine? Are you at any the naval base there? I went to A school there. The last time I saw Pensacola, it was pretty sweet there. Got a lot of fish. Got a lot of fish off the pier. And Chris has a nice boat too. Like if you're gonna ask anybody about how a DV, how a 15 to 16 foot DV, how it handles big waves, Chris has probably the top DV tiny boat in the country currently, maybe on the planet. I don't know. It's pretty dope. We're gonna eventually go out and do a collab on it because he got it built up there in Illinois, and we definitely want to show that thing off. Okay, Christopher Godfrey. How will I let you know about the tournament? It's going to be all over the place. We'll be doing lives there. We will be blowing that up. So, I mean, that's a pretty substantial movement. So, essentially, all of us are going to go out of state into Tennessee and do this. So essentially, when the Tin Can crew gets together, things have to be in play. The last time we were able to get together and it all worked is because we built for a gentleman. His name was John. And he was just like the perfect person to build a boat for. We all flew in there out of state. We all built the boat free of charge, but he bought everything from our store and he accommodated us while we were there with like anything we needed, including like food. And he took care of us all while we killed ourselves for 4 days to build that boat. And so that's the kind of people that we would need to do collabs like that. That's the only thing that actually works or makes sense. Somebody that's going to do all that and then not give us a lot of hassle while we're building it. And so I think we found another person to do that. He seems on board. We're going to go and build it out of Tennessee, and it's actually he owns like a lodge on the lake, and he hosts tournaments there regularly. And so we want a boat there specifically because he wants to start hosting tiny boat tournaments there, on top of having us build a boat there for him. And so we plan to be doing stuff. I'm trying to break into more states. Breaking into Tennessee would be huge for us. Try to go to Texas and do that. Texas is a lot of land to conquer, and then obviously Spirit Airlines collapsed the day I tried to fly out. And slow process. I really would like to try and get back to Texas, and I really would like to try to get into Florida. And Florida is also a lot of land to conquer. I try to actually talk to a few people in Florida, a few YouTubers, including Justin. So we'll see. We'll see about that. It's a big thing, though. The Tennessee thing's a big thing, though. That's coming up in October. That is the beginning of October. We are going there. That's like fall break for us. I'll be taking the new Ford and the toy hauler up there. I'll be doing a video also about the toy hauler. I don't really like doing these videos also, just so you guys know. Like, I'm not trying to flex. Look at all my stuff. Honestly, I need to post them on videos so I can claim, like, the business tax. So it doesn't look like I just bought it as a toy. Like, it's there for business. So that's why, like, you saw the video about the truck, which is probably, like, the lowest ranking video I've had in, like, forever. Yeah, just putting that out there. If you're a tuber and you got something going on and you buy a truck, show it on YouTube and write off as taxes, and you get 10 grand back at the end of the year. Oh, no. All right. In my opinion, from Casey, in your opinion, what's the best brand of gas-powered outboard motors? Ooh. I'm a fanboy of Mercury, but I don't have a lot of exposure to Yamaha. A lot of people say Yamaha is the best. Like from 5 horsepower to 20, or from 2.5 to 25 horsepower, it's arguable. Everybody, like, there's an overwhelming majority consensus, although it's never been officially admitted to me or proven to me, that all the motors for the small portable short shaft and long shaft tiller motors, they're all made by Tohatsu. And they all eerily sound about the same. So if that's really true, and there's a really high probability that it is, then it just doesn't actually matter what motor you get from either Yamaha or Mercury or even Honda. I don't know if Honda makes all their motors. I know Suzuki, I think, might be the one that doesn't do that. Suzuki's pretty... I know Suzuki's 2.5 liter... their 2.5 horsepower motor, like, they do stuff different. They have, like, an actual metal timing chain in there versus, belt. They do stuff different. I think Suzuki specifically is the only one that branches out and does their own stuff. I've heard a lot of the people that actually, whoever has Suzukis on the tournament trails, they have the least problems out of everybody. But I've never actually had a Suzuki. Suzuki also makes a 30 horsepower portable tiller. I really would like to try Suzuki, but, I'm kind of an American-made fanboy, so I probably will never buy one. I would probably just stick with Mercury, even though everything's made in China anyways, or Japan. One of the two. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. Like, I would just find a motor and be happy. Any motor in today's time is going to run really good. Wow, Bill, what's going on, man? How are you doing? You down there in Phoenix? Okay, I wish my mouse wouldn't spike. Let me see. This mouse is acting up. Where was it? Okay. Blake Bennett, Australia. All tiny boats with a Quintex. What's a Quintex? Also, Blake, you got the number to that guy with those, like, foam things? I forgot what he calls them, but they're like foam pontoons that you can stick on the side of a V-hull, and they give you amazing stability out there in the water. I need that guy's number. He's really hard to contact. I know he's like all the way on the other side of the world from us, but I mean, I need to talk to that guy. Chris, you're camping? You're camping right now and you're on live? Man, all right. That's dope. Chris gets out there, man. Chris makes it happen. He's a pilot, but he gets out there and he makes sure he takes self-care time. That's good. Okay. Hutch, how are you, man? On a tiny boat, is it worth it to go through the hassle to wire lighting? It absolutely is 100% worth it. It is worth it 110% to wire your boat correctly and add lighting everywhere. I mean, but I fish at night. If you're doing it just to flex at the boat ramp in front of all the people at your tournament just so you make them look bad, I mean, then it's probably not worth it. But if you're really going to use it, like if you were a night fisherman, or if you really value having your entire boat lit up, like, you know, pre-gray light right before the tournament, or just pre-gray light when you're going out fishing, like early morning, then it's absolutely worth it. I mean, I go out here in Havasu, it's scary as crap. There's really only a few of us out here on my lake that we will actually go out and fish at night. Only a select few of us that have the guts to actually go out there and do it. And I tell you, you want as many lights as possible. Lights everywhere. Lights everywhere. How much does it cost to launch my boat at Havasu? If we go to Site 6 and risk that crap show, it's free. But it's also a real crap show there. So, I mean, I don't go there on the weekends, and in the summer I just completely avoid it like the plague. Otherwise, it's like a lot of money, actually. Probably like 20. I mean, I have a vet discount, a disabled vet discount. So it's only like, it's half for me. So it's like 10, 15 bucks on average. But for other people, it's like 30, 40 bucks if you're not a vet. You can also get a yearly pass. And I wonder if I could get a yearly pass discount with a vet discount. That would be dope. Because I like my favorite port out of Havasu was Windsor Beach. That's like the best one. And I really like Cats Hill a lot, but really Windsor is the mouth of the rivers right there. So a lot happens there. So, yeah. Oh, thanks on the 100K subs. We're gonna be doing a giveaway. By the way, for everybody who's in here right now, we are doing a giveaway. If you go and click on my channel and you click on the community post, there is a link there with like a landing page. It's like that. Our boat's all lit up. Click there and enter the giveaway because we're going to be giving away a lot of stuff. I haven't officially announced it because we don't have our stuff together to now. Like, we have all the material. The setup is not perfect. So we'll be doing that, and we'll be changing our website to show the giveaway away. So everybody, gets into that. So we'll be giving away full kits, gear, a lot of stuff. And, yeah, Sock, send me a photo, man. Send me a photo of everything. If you guys have any, stuff, I try to, honestly answer everybody's stuff. I have a team now, so we're pretty good. So if you message me on Facebook, or you message me on Instagram, we're pretty good at getting back to you. Okay? If you give me a giant wall of text, those are the hardest ones to answer, but if you keep it kind of brief, we're able to kind of take care of those. I hate thumb texting. Not real good at it. I was born with a traditional keyboard. Do you ever take tiny boats in the harbor? I don't actually do that. Like the brackish water fishing or the inshore fishing. Because there's nowhere close to me now. It's just all freshwater lakes. But if I was near Newport, or like in Chesapeake Bay, or down in South Carolina or North Carolina where we were at right there where it was just all brackish, I would go for sure. I for sure would do it. It's just it's not a big deal. You just gotta take a little bit more care of your motor. You gotta make sure you flush it out really good so you don't just leave residual salt inside the motor. and then you got to just pay attention to your hull because aluminum corrodes in salt water like much faster than fresh water, like substantially faster, even if it's just brackish, which is a pretty low salt water, salt content. Haynes Hunter is Australian fiberglass boat brand. Deep V half cab. Sweet. I think a fiberglass boat does really well in the ocean. I think it might actually do the best in the ocean versus an aluminum hull. It's the only times where I really think, obviously other than speed and stability, that a small glass hull will have it over an aluminum hull in terms of like actual longevity. I mean, in the salt, it would do really good. And you guys ever check out Fishing with Timmy Turtle? He had he built his own skiff. It's like an 8 or 9 foot flat, just like a straight flat skiff, no cockpit. It was pretty dope. He had a buddy who like knew how to glass everything around the wood. He had a buddy fit it all in, and then some things that I wouldn't have obviously done, like intricate wise, but the overall event. And then he went out there and like he did it. He had like a little 8-horse, or I think it was an 8-horse Tohatsu, and he was just out there riding it like a damn like a paddleboard, and he went out and caught a marlin on it. It was pretty dope. So you should check out that guy. He does a lot of the fishing videos. It's pretty big now, I think. One of the bigger people out there. What's going on, Adam? How are you, man? Okay, let me see so I don't lose people. Okay. All right, Devon, Marine Corps. Okay, I knew it. All right, you at the barracks? When I was at the Pensacola barracks, Devon, like the Marine Corps barracks were like ironically right across, I think, from like the female barracks. The female barracks used to like flash the Marines. They never flashed the Navy guys though. So like, that was like a thing. We were kind of jealous of you guys at the beginning. Not so much later on, once you got into the fleet, but it was whatever. I don't know if you're there for A school or if you're just down there stationed, but it was a blast down there. I love Florida. I loved Florida. Wish I could go back. One day, someday we'll go back. All right, Kendra Johnson. Oh, okay, sweet. Can the Gen X lids be mounted flush to an aluminum deck build? No. Well, you would have to. No, not really. Well, if you want to make a raised lip or you want to use the raised tubing, you could pretty much make a Gen X or Gen 7 like terminal lid that just sits there and never opens. It's not functional, but you'd have to do a 3/4 elevation to match the Gen X hatch if you just want it all aluminum. So I don't do it that way because for one, it's not very cost effective. I think it's kind of a waste of time. Like unless you really just want all aluminum and you want no wood. But where I think wood shines is in panels where it doesn't actually do anything. So if you have just like a straight flat deck, you can just get a 3/8 sheet or a 1/2. I'm sorry, 3/8 sheet or a 1/2 inch sheet of plywood. Run some marginal under supports for it, and if it just lays there and it just doesn't do anything like open and close, wood actually does profoundly well. It does very good, especially if you resin coat it. You resin coat it, you let the wood soak in the resin, you resin coat it again 2-3 times to the finished desire, and then you give it a nice sanding to where it's kind of a glassy surface. I think wood is maybe that's the kind of wood deck that will last forever. Just when you start getting into the intricate wood hatches, that's when it starts to fail, and that's when like stuff like the Gen X kit, our lid builder kits off of our website do profoundly well. But the Gen X kit was kind of meant to really integrate into wood aluminum hybrids or wood synthetic board composite hybrids. Kind of like my boat now, where I did the synthetic board terminal panels. They're not going to move. They're not. I mean, I'm going to bolt those down, or I might 1.5 inch rivet them down, and they're just going to stay there, and I'm going to walk on them, and they'll be fine. So I wouldn't do it unless it's just a waste of money, personally, I think. But on Nate's kits though, we have that bleed out undercatch lip, so the lid sits right into the frame, and at that point in time, it absolutely makes sense to run aluminum. That's where when an all aluminum deck in conjunction with like Nate's dry hatches, that's when it makes total sense, because we are, then you can't really get a piece of wood that's going to fit on the frame and and level out. You actually have to use aluminum if you use his hatches. Dang it, I just realized that. Because I'm going to use some of his hatches now, I got to go buy another sheet of aluminum. You need 090. You could use 063 on that, but 090 is kind of recommended. His hatches are recommended also for bigger boats. So I really wouldn't stick a whole lot of his hatches in a boat that's smaller than 15 feet. All right. One Dan. I don't want to pronounce anybody's name wrong. One Dan. I'm just gonna say that. One Dan Dandy. One Dan Dandy 1. Do they have a docking contest? A docking contest? Like what? Like we got a bunch of people with like, scorecards, like rating people's, launching and recovery. Yeah, they have those guys. Those guys are pricks. Bunch of losers. You gotta wonder what's going on in that person's life. You got nothing else better in your life but to go down and heckle people off the ramp. And yes, do some of those people deserve heckling? Absolutely. They got a lot of people are morons on the ramp, and you've known them. You might even at one point in time been one of those people. But I tell you, like the people that just sit there, I don't know. Special place in hell for those people. I feel. I mean, yeah, I could be wrong. I take that back. That's wrong. No, I don't take that back. But let's go on. All right. Yamaha makes 25 and under motors for Mercury. Yamaha? No, I don't think that's right. Ira, if you have substantial proof that works, I would love to see it. Like, message that to me. Like where you actually have proof of that, because that would be huge. If Yamaha's making Merc motors, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Because right now the general consensus is Tohatsu makes all the portable motors, and then when you start to get into the 50 and above, or the 40 and above, like that's when that starts to really start powering some bigger, more expensive boats, and they start to care. This is when the egos happen, and then you got the Mercury versus Yamaha. I really think Mercury and Yamaha are the top two, at least in the country. I don't know if it's the same the further out you go. I think the further out you go, Suzuki and Yamaha have a huge impression out in the rest of the world. And there's places where nobody will even consider Mercury at all. So, I don't know. And I see all these comments flashing. I'm just kind of scrolling down here on my other one. Max Plemons. Do I still make swim baits? Yes, but I'm very greedy and I keep them all for myself because they're a real pain in the ass to make. Like, let me see here. Which would be the best? Okay, from John Gonzalez. Which would be the best for budget build? A John boat. John boats are easier to build. They're gonna be easier to build. They're more symmetrical. They're just like symmetrical. They're easy. So, if you have a body of water you're gonna fish mainly that is not rough water, your biggest wave is like a 1 foot chop, then a John boat makes sense. But anything over a 1 foot chop that gets a little stormy, you see some white caps, you need a DP. To really be able to capitalize on that boat without like stressing yourself out or causing damage to the boat. No, the Gen X kit doesn't include materials for the subfloor. It's really all about the top deck. But we do have a subfloor kit that is really basic and fairly inexpensive. It just gives you all the framing to do the subfloor. And I'm actually going to be doing that too. I want to be doing more simple builds. I want to do really simple builds and different builds with these next 3 holes I have, and I want to give all those away to people. I do not want to keep them because I only want 2 boats. I want obviously my Yak Killer, and I want my main boat that I'm actually gonna retrofit into kind of a ski and fish boat because the fam and everything. They all complain about my tiny boat, too much deck, not enough places to sit, and then obviously the stupid little 25 can't push my whole family. It did at one point in time, then they all just got big and they started weighing a lot, and now we can't just putt around and we look stupid. So I'm gonna redo the boat. Okay. The 1982 Bass Tracker. You're rebuilding the Bass Tracker, huh? All right, this is my final stance on the Bass Tracker. Forget what happened between me and that guy. I just specifically on the tracker, that pre-Johnny Morris, Fisher Marine tracker builds way back in the day. If you're going to find one of those and if you're going to convert one of those, just be prepared. Out of all the boats I ripped apart, that is by far the worst built boat I've ever seen. Ever. And you just be very confident in your skills. I've never had a boat stress me out so bad. Like even now when my skills substantially more, than when I actually tackle that boat. If somebody, a lot of people have asked me, please restore my boat, please restore it. You gave me nostalgia with your videos, I'm like, I appreciate your comments, but no, not ever would I do that boat again. I tell people to sell it and get a new boat. This is like my answer. I don't mean to deter you, Sierra the creator. So I'm just saying, like, you're probably a pretty tough person to take on that boat. Like, mad respect to you for sure. Anybody who's taken on, a pre Johnny Morris tracker, good job. And I don't even know about the post Johnny Morris trackers, how well they're built. I've actually never seen one. So, what's my favorite non-bass freshwater fish? Striper. Like non-bass, like non-large or smallmouth. I mean striper for sure. And then if not, then I go for flathead. I will go for channel and flathead, but I feel like guilty because the only way I get them out here is like, live bait. You gotta fish live bait. I have this thing where I don't judge anybody for live bait. I mean I've used it, but I feel really bad using live bait. Personally, it's a problem for me. Like, it's one thing for you to go out with like an artificial lure, and then it's just between you and the fish. You got to do the work. You got to trick the fish, and then if you hook the fish, then you either you win or you lose, or he strokes. One of you loses. But like when you send a fish off to its death, you hook it and you just let it dangle out. I was like, it's just terrible. I feel terrible doing it, but other people have, they're fine. And, it's different. So I don't fish for catfish a lot, but I do eventually on occasion, like once a year, I suck it up and I go bait fishing. That's what it is. Oh yeah, it's called boat collars, Tom. Thank you. Yes, they do improve flotation. I would love boat collars down here, but I think that guy does not ship to the U.S. But I would love to talk to that guy. I got to get back into him. All right. So let me see. My chat keeps jarring. I got to keep grabbing it. Let me see. Okay, Matt and this Shandley. Matt, what's going on? Hey, Mike, I've been what? Okay. Want to build a fifth wheel? You want to build a fifth wheel toy hauler RV with a boat trailer? In the back of it? Oh, yeah, but I mean, my boat will fit inside the toy hauler. I'm making that John Yak to be like a true crossover between a kayak and a John boat, to where it really, really crosses the actual line. Because that's the big deal. There are kayaks, and there are things that kayaks will do that John boats absolutely can never do. But what you see them doing with these bigger yaks is you see them trying to acquire some big boat features into a kayak to kind of compensate for the fact that it's the minimalist fishing platform kind of sucks to just do all the time. But really, I think that the engine, I don't know. I think they failed substantially. But what we have here is, with the Yak Killer that I'm pushing out now, is something that is right on the line. Like, you can truck bed it. You can put it on top of your rail system on a car. It'll be a little heavy. But, and you can also stick it in a toy hauler. It's much more transportable. You don't need a trailer at all. It's transportable with one person. Pushes the line though. It's getting heavier every time we add anything on there. Even with a turf. We added turf on the boat, it got heavier. So like, I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, but like the whole point is I'm making that boat actually fit in a toy hauler. That was like the thing. Must fit in the toy hauler. Without a trailer. Must be able to be transported into any lake without a trailer. That's like my, if we can cross that boundary, then we have truly, honestly, as a community, made a boat that really is a crossover. And we beat all the other kayak engineers that tried out of our garage. This is like hilarious. I don't know. Let me see here. Okay. In the Mercury 20 horsepower 4-stroke, which is a motor that I personally love. Yes. I love the Mercury 20. I want one personally. I don't have a boat that you can go on, but I just kind of want one. Really hard to get them. Right now. Everything's like the world's running out of parts. It's kind of terrifying. What's the hardest thing to build on my personal boat? The sidewalls. I really hate building the sidewalls in any boat. And I absolutely hate building the flanged curved pieces on the sides of the rod lockers. It's those two things that hurt my brain. I will like get to the point and then I'll go and find something else to do. And I'll just delay it. And if you noticed on my deck for the longest time, even with this John Yak, all the rest of the deck was built with those side pieces, and I finally built them out of Kusa board. I hated it. I hate them, and I hate inner panels. I just don't know what it is about it. It's fairly easy to cut a square, but I just hate it. Hate it. No good reason. It's not. I don't even have anything useful to say about it. Let me see. 2 strands fishing 3. What's up, man? Hey, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. Okay, so Blake, have you seen Riverland Dinghy Derby? I have not. I have not. But 65 kilometer is pretty fast, right? Was that what is that, like 30 miles? 65 km is about 30 miles an hour. I'm not really good in the kilometer to mile conversion is not real good in the brain. Oh, thank you, Blake. Appreciate it. Okay, let me see what we got here. Okay. All right, from Dan Dandy again. The time. How fast Constance can dock. Oh yeah, no, we don't have that. I don't even know anybody who does. But we do have people who make fun of us docking in and out of the boat. And they're like their own little separate crowd. They love to do it. I don't know. And then okay. Steven Baglione, I think I said it right. In the market for a boat in the future. What is the best built boat? Ooh, 16-footer. I don't know, man. I really like a strong 16-foot DV boat, and there's really 3 people that make it really good. And that's Alumacraft, Smokercraft, and Lund. I think they make outstanding boats for their kind of, budget-friendly kind of 3-bench seat boats. They make really good boats. And I think the 16-foot Alumacraft, I would love to find that boat specifically. I got a lot of people hit me up saying that they're back ordered on a 16 and 14-foot Alumacraft, the V14 and V16 for like, I don't know, they're like years out now. Well, yeah, okay. Let me see here. What about trolling motor am I going to use for the Yak Killer? Good question, Will Smith. I am going to use, probably at the start, I'm going to use a transit mount, and I'm going to flip the motor head and turn it into a bow mount, and it's going to be a Traxxas, and I think the Traxxas is honestly the best, standalone bow mount trolling motor system because it has that flip up handle and then it extends. And then there's a few others that do it, but like not as well as the Traxxas. So I have a 70-pound Traxxas, and I'll probably be running it in the front. I think having to have that bench seat, that butt seat there, because if I didn't have that butt seat, I would most likely fall off. I do have something comparable to this boat in terms of what I actually did to it. And so I can honestly, what am I using the words? I can reasonably state that I think it's going to perform pretty well. With a butt seat up there in the front, just kind of tooling around. As small as it is, I think it'll do well. I have not been to the fireworks convention at Lake Havasu. I keep missing it. I do. It's not good. And this mouse keep flexing like that. I just miss everybody's comment. If I skip over your comment, I'm sorry. Like this mouse, I don't know what its problem is. It keeps spiking down the middle. I lose my place. I think I found it. Okay. Okay. Well, also what I want to use regarding Will Smith's question is a pronab Marine. They make this kit for a Minn Kota power drive. And the Minn Kota power drive, I think, is the worst trolling motor on the market. I hate it. But they have a system that turns that thing into like an Ultrex with iPilot link. Like it's really nice. So what I would really like on the Yak Killer is not much more than a 12-volt system. I would really like just a clean system. I want one of those that are just not they're a little bit more programmed. They don't spike. You know, there's some that you know when you press they immediately spike up, and then you have some that you hit the button and it slowly ramps up. I think the slow ramp up on smaller boats, because of the rolling variance of a smaller boat, is really important. That's the difference between you slowly easing into the power and then you flying off the boat. Because I definitely see myself flying off this Yak Killer a few times. It'll get me a little bit. I mean, this is a new thing. I'm spoiled on my boat. But I have to rip my boat apart. But I've been spoiled for a while. So going on a boat this small is definitely going to change the way I fish. It's probably be my primary boat because I'm gonna have to break my boat down. I got to put that 60 horse on it. You know, I got a brand new 60 horse and everything that comes with that. So we'll see. Quentin, how's it going, Quentin? How are you? Have you seen any airline boats? Oh no, I have not. I have not seen a whole lot. The South is wondrous, though. I would actually like to live there and find out more about how things are done. But I really just I crossed the surface of how things are done there, like the bare surface. Like there's some really cool stuff down there. Sid Ali, how are you? 1436 conversion. Recommendation for the gunnel. I need a little bit more information about you, about what you actually need. What do you mean, height? Height from the deck to the gunnel? You know, that's just, I would try to keep the deck as low as possible. I'm assuming that's what you're asking. Just to keep your center of gravity low and then give you some catch. So if you get a fish, I mean, it doesn't just roll off the deck if you don't quite get it into the pit. So, if that's what you're asking. If you're not asking that, then I just need a little bit more clarity. Okay. Just read through these comments, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, from Hutch. How are you doing, Hutch? Hosley. Can a 15 horsepower motor get a 14-foot boat that's fully decked on plane? People have done it. I kind of think it matters on how heavy the hull is. Because I fully decked out a Valco. And that was like with my Gen 4 specs, which are old and outdated. But that was arguably the lightest boat that I ever built for a 14-foot platform. Like, we built a full kit in that thing, and it was a wood deck. And, like, the frame was like the Gen 4 ultralight. So that we had that going for it. And then what, 2 people, we picked that thing off the trailer. I picked up the back. I picked up the front. I think my buddy picked up the back. We picked up the whole boat. And then with my son and I in it and all gear, it planed with a 15 at 23 miles an hour like nothing. You got right on plane. But then, I converted that Alumacraft with an even lighter kit, like a better kit. I converted that Alumacraft V14, and then we had that 25 horse Yami in the back. And man, if we didn't have a jack plate, we wouldn't have got on plane. We had to pitch down. And then we got on plane immediately. So it was a little different. Yet the prop pitch matters a lot. So I would say with a 15 and a fully loaded kit, you got to have a pretty low pitch, like a 9 pitch or maybe an 8. You got to go pretty low. You have to go pretty low, but then you risk damaging the motor head if you go too low. So I think a lot of it's about the prop pitch. So if all you have is a 15, then just mess with different props. Yeah, London Bridge at Lake Havasu is pretty dope. I fish there often. What's the largest and most powerful outboard? I would put on a 12-foot. If it's a stout 12-foot, you probably can get away with a 9.9. On my 12-footer, I'm just going to put a 5 horse or a 6 horse. That's it. I am not going to go any higher. My friends are telling me to put a 9.9 on that boat. They're insane. I'm not putting a 9.9 on that jump boat. I'll die. All right. We might make our own glass hulls one day. You never know. It's easier to make a glass hull than it is to get aluminum hull stamped. And that is the truth. That is the truth. It's a process too. It's a skill, but it's the truth. Have you seen the lawnmower engine conversions to outboard? Like a longtail? You know, I don't quite do that, but we have somebody in our kit, Tony, in our crew. His name's Senate John Boats, and that's all he talks about. He actually showed up to our last meeting in North Carolina with a longtail. He's like the only one. It was kind of funny. The motor was louder than shit. I mean, that motor will scare away all the fish. Like if I did that, it's because like things are so terribly dire in the river system. It's just so flooded with crap that using a traditional outboard just is useless. And then that's where you would get a longtail. Then it would be perfect. Because a longtail would really just chew through everything. And then the surface drives will crawl across rocks, like legit rocks. There's a little bit of water there, just enough to float the hole and crawl across the rocks. I never seen anything like that. It's nuts. All right. Do you have to put pour foam back, or can you just cut enough foam in the sheets? You can do. I would recommend you put pour foam back. And pour foam is better in the boat. I mean, it's a more of a mechanical bond. It's a more solid bond. It'll help your boat with stability. I mean, as far as feeling firm in the water, like, you know, we hit a wave and your whole boat shakes. If you put enough foam in key places, like the key 4 spots, and even like if you get real bold, put it in the subfloor, your boat won't shake like that. It really does stiffen up the boat hull, makes it feel more like a glass hull. And so, argue if you put enough styrofoam sheets in the same spot where you put all the pour foam, you'll likely have the same reserve buoyancy, or, you know, initial flotation, you know, reserve flotation. But there's no way that styrofoam will ever stiffen up the hull and give it the stability that a pour foam will do. Pour foam dramatically makes a smoother ride for you. So just consider that. If that doesn't matter to you, then, you know, styrofoam away. Okay, Matt. Is my plan to disconnect the toy hauler, put the back ramp into the truck bed, wheel the yak killer into the truck bed? If my campsite is way far away from the ramp, but if it's not far away from the ramp, I'm just gonna walk that thing down to the ramp. We're actually gonna be able to test this. If I can get this boat done before September 19th, which highly likely, because we don't have a whole lot left. I'm at this point in time just procrastinating. I got really burnt out on that turf job. The turf job burnt me. Like, I was having really good consistency with it. I was just doing a little bit a day, and something happened with the turf where I go in these like modes. Some people will call them bipolar modes. I call it the artist mode, where I just veg out and I can't think about anything else. I cut off everybody on social media. I only get like 2-3 hours of sleep, sometimes 1, and I wake up just thinking about it. Family hates it. My wife hates it. So I don't have no friends out here. They don't hate it. So I gotta, and then like after I complete it, I gotta like do this shutdown, and I gotta like take a break from the boat. I haven't touched the boat in like 4 days, so I kind of went off the tangent there. What I meant to say is, I think I'm gonna get that boat done, and if I get it done before September 17th to 19th, I'm gonna actually take a camping trip where I take the toy hauler up there, and the boat will be in there, and I will give you. That's where I really want to demonstrate its deal. I'll demonstrate here on my home lake, where I go and violate the kayak, you know, territory. I'm gonna just go all up in there with it, and then I'll be taking it to some really remote spots where it's just we're trying to get a traditional boat down a ramp is just death. I'm gonna take you to lakes where the water level is considerably down because of weather changes and some other stuff, and it'll be pretty cool to watch. We can do it. And then this, okay. All right, then things spiked again. Okay, where was I here? Okay, sorry, I lost my spot again. I'm really trying to answer everybody's question. I'm trying to leave. There's not so many people in the chat today because we're so late that we can't answer everybody's questions, so we're just looking. Okay, I think I found it. All right, Steve again. Okay, appreciate it. All right, well, I hope you find a boat. You know, if you find one at all, kind of hold on to it. Okay. Okay, so from Alan Peter, have you ever considered building boat collars for stability? You know, I don't even know how I would do that, but I would love boat collars on the Yak Killer. I would love boat collars on the Yak Killer. I would love to talk to the boat collar manufacturer out of Australia and figure something out. I will pay the outrageous shipping cost for those things. I would, because I think the gain that I would get on the Yak Killer would be exponential. Otherwise, I'm going to formulate some sort of outrigger that mount into the oar locks of the boat. And that was my initial idea. But if I could just get boat collars to do it, then I'd be all right. Because I don't really need that thing to plane. I mean, I could really go as far as to stick a 9.9 on that boat. I did reinforce the transom substantially. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Again, about the gunnel, what to cover the aluminum gunnel, some rubber material. Oh, I would just cut little rectangular pieces of gator skin, like the non-skid, and I would just put it every so often. I just cut little pieces. That's what I'm gonna do with my boat. I'm actually gonna cover my gunnel like that. I decided, because my gunnel looks like dog shit. Sorry, excuse my language. Looks like dog doo doo. Partially my fault because I was working on it, and I plan, because you can't just run a whole sheet of gator skins. It's a big giant waste of the sheet. But if you cut little sections like this and you just lay it over like a half moon onto the gunnel with breaks every so often, you would be able to really efficiently use that stuff. And then I personally like the non-skid from the gator skins. It's a tough stuff you can find. And then you can get the black pebble. You can actually get the black non-skid. It's probably a little bit easier to clean than the pebble. It's actually probably a little bit more functional. Greetings from Atlanta. What's going on, Gerald? Okay. I mean, Tony, isn't a long tail motor a lawnmower engine? I mean, they look just like a lawnmower engine. I mean, the engine on Chris Simmons' boat from Senate John boats, that engine was like a that was from Harbor Freight. It looked just like a lawnmower engine. Yeah, I do have an office down here, but it's not really open to the public, Dandy. If I met somebody and I had to speak with them or do an interview with them here, I'd probably let it in here. But it really is. I don't advertise it out for business because I kind of come here. I'm not here all the time. I do a lot of my work out of my garage. So actually, this office is maybe a little overkill. I bought the office because nobody respects my job at my house. Like, the family doesn't think I do anything real, like any real work. Like, they just think I just mess on my phone all day and I go and build stuff and I just go have fun, and they don't think any of it's real work. So they're kind of bitter. Like, I get that vibe from pretty much everybody. Like, I used to know that, we all had the traditional jobs, went and got degrees, now work for people who stroke us and overwork and underpay us. And then I kind of floated out of that, and now I do this, and they see they see me sleeping in, they see me going and doing all these things, and they see me just. And so I get a little slack for it. But the initial family, like, they kind of would just not give me my privacy. So I kind of just went and bought. I was like, you don't respect me at the house. You don't want to be quiet when I'm trying to film or commentate. And I just went and up and got an office very impulsively. Was tired of them, and so some regrets about it. Like, it's more overhead that I got to carry, but it's nice infrastructure to have. I probably will carry it for the rest of the year. And then get rid of it. Personally, I don't want to keep it. We'll see. I actually want to make my toy hauler the office. Personally. I did end up buying a truck, Will. I posted a video about it. It's just brand new. If I use liquid tight console conduit? No, that's like overkill to do liquid tight conduit, because all the wire is heat shrinked with liquid tight heat shrink tubing, like marine grade heat shrink, and the stuff has like an adhesive inside it that melts around the wire butts, as you're shrinking it, and the water's not going to get in there. To run. I actually try to not run any of the conduit piping at all anymore because it's just so heavy. I realize, I mean, weighing down, the conduit piping is obscenely heavy compared to something like a golf tube, where there's like, it's not a whole lot. What I plan to run is just braided expandable sleeving. That's how I plan to sleeve and loom and protect my wires that are running down in between the channel walls. Thought about coming down to the Gulf Coast. You know, Brandon, it's all about finding the right person. You know, if I can find the right person that will just accommodate me and my crew. By what I mean by that is like they take care of our food and lodging, and they buy all the parts from our store, then we will fly ourselves down there and do the work for free. That's like the trade-off. There's only so many people that are willing to do that, and so far we've found 2 people. But if there's somebody in Louisiana or somebody in any state that wanted to do that for us, we would do it. But that, I mean, that's a requirement. But we're not going to go down there and fly ourselves down there, do all the work for free, and then like have to pay for food and lodging. Yeah, that's just giving them like all the advantage. And there's a big possibility that however they want the boat, it's not going to trend on the internet, so it's a giant loss for us at that point in time. Thankfully, the 4-day build was extremely successful for the entire crew. That's when our entire crew really started to unite, and it's taken notice on social media. But it's just meeting that right person that reaches out to us, say, hey, I want a boat. What do I got to do? So that's a pretty deep stipulation. But that's the only way that I personally will go and build a boat for somebody else. I won't do it without a crew. It's too stressful. It's too stressful. Your brain will explode. I can't personally build a boat in a week correctly. Like, I need people there. Check Wisdoms of Wood for DIY boat stabilizers. Wisdom of the Woods. He just used a large foam-filled sea channel of aluminum and glued and bolted to the side of the boat. He got aluminum sea channel and filled it with foam. Said, okay, and then just bolted to the side of the boat. I think that's probably a really cool idea at the beginning. I don't think he's going to have a lot of long-term success. There's problems that come with floating a lot of foam below the waterline. So I would like to see how he capped that off. It sounds like it would have some long-term flaws, short-term gain, long-term flaws. It sounds like it would work in the immediate, but I'm not. We'll see. We'll see about that. I have ideas on how to stabilize the boat. I want to have swinging out outriggers that swing down, and then when I go on plan, they swing back out and they attach into the oar lock, because I still have the oar locks. The boat was meant to be oared. So we have that. And, thank you guys for answering all these questions. I appreciate it. How to put a rod locker in a 12-foot V-hole? Oh, man, I don't know if it's doable. Oh, it is doable. What am I saying? It's stupid. I put one in an 11.5. What I did when I put it in the 11.5 V-hole is, man, I made the whole thing a rod locker. The whole boat, the whole side of the boat was a rod locker. And, like, the back panel, the butts slid into the back panel. So pretty much the whole thing had to, like, you couldn't break it up. So the whole boat, the whole side of the boat has to be suitable for rods. So that's kind of how we did it. All right. And for the shallow water, what would I use to jack plate for a trim plate? We were trying to work with Bob's Machine because they make a tilt and jack combo for smaller boats. That means it'll tilt and jack, and I think that's really important. We're trying to actually secure that, but they're like on back order like everybody else for like months. So I think we're actually closing in on the time that we might actually use it. So we'll see. We'll see for sure. I definitely want to move in on that though. That's like a thing. That's a thing I definitely want to do. All right, guys, we're looking like we got most. Is my egg killer much small? Well, yeah, it'll fit in Adam's boat. Adam's boat, actually, if you guys are wondering about how our Gen X or our Gen 7 kits, how our John Yak kits will fit into a bigger boat, Adam is doing one out of a 1436, and he's got a pretty seamless like video series there. Adam Ryan, you should definitely check out his channel and subscribe, and follow that series, because he's actually that's what he's been cranking out recently. But yeah, my boat would actually fit inside a 1436. A 1232 will fit right inside a 1436. A 1436 is substantially more stable than my boat. It will do a lot better on the water, and it will fish two people pretty effectively when he's done. My boat is made to be a one-man monster. I don't know. I wouldn't stick two people on it. Last time I stuck two people on a 12-footer that I converted, like that John boat, the minute he just turned the seat like this and put his feet on this side, the whole boat swayed. Like, it's real sketch. Hard to keep control in a boat that small. I think even the 1236 would do a lot better than my boat. Like, every little inch on the bottom beam matters. Every little inch you gain. That's why you see the kayaks try their hardest to go over 30 inches, 29 inches, 31 inches. They try so hard to get to 32 without making the boat obscenely wide. Some of them do it. Some get it there. All right, guys. So we're here at 24 in the chat. The next time I come on live, we will likely be doing giveaways or announcing giveaways. And we're going to probably end it here because it's late. What time is it? I just know it's late. It's like 10, which means it's like 1 in the morning for a bunch of other people. It means they got to work tomorrow. So, hey, thank you guys for showing up to the live. Thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties in the beginning. And so we will definitely catch you guys out there on the next one. See ya.